welcome to another episode of Courting Cinderellas, and I'm here with Binghamton head coach Levell Sanders to break down the America East champs. Again, the Vermont Catamounts. I feel like we do this every year, Levell. Let's start with, for Vermont, who's their best player and what's he all about? What's his game about?
You know, I think I don't think I think it's two. It's like 1A and 1B. So Finn Sullivan, I think, is their best player, like their best overall player. I mean, he shoots it, he guards, he can get to the basket, he has really good size. I mean, they can play him at the point guard, they can play him off the ball, they can post him up. So he does so many things well for them. Early, the two games he lost in our league, he didn't play. And so that was a kind of a main factor. But I think also Penn, you know, he's been playing really well. And when he shoots the ball well, it makes them really hard to guard because he's such a dynamic guy getting to the basket. So I would say those two guys are like 1A and 1B.
What's the X factor, or who's the X factor with Vermont?
So if I had to pick an X factor, I would say Gibson, because he's not a guy that they rely on to score. But when he does score and he can shoot the ball really well, it makes them even better. Especially, you know, they're not going to be playing at home, but at home, when he made threes, the crowd just went crazy. And so I would say Gibson is an X factor because they don't rely on him to score a lot, but when he does score, it really helps them and it makes them a lot more potent offensively.
Hey guys, just a reminder, our sponsor for today's episode is Run Your Pool. They are hosting the Field of 68 Bracket Challenge. This year, they are giving away $1,500 in free prizes. It's all an incentive for you to get on there and find out just how good their platform is. I've been using them for my bracket pools for years. I've used them for Super Bowl squares. I use them for everything that I need to use them for. The biggest survivor pool that I'm in for both NFL and NCAA tournament is by Run Your Pool. So go check them out. The link's below. Tap in.
All right, the biggest question. Why or how can they win an NCAA tournament game?
The Vermont always defends really well. And so, you know, if you can defend, you have good guard play, which they do have good guard play. But I think one of the key things with Vermont is that they shoot the ball really well. And they can have five guys on the court. Their five-man Veretto, who is not really a five-man, who starts at the five for them, is probably their best three-point shooter. And so it just creates so much space for those guys to play one-on-one because they do have so many guys that can shoot. And so because they defend well, they have good guard play, and they can shoot the ball really well, I think is one of the reasons that they can win an NCAA tournament game.
So if they get hot, they got guys who can shoot it from every position, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, they can have five guys on the floor at one time that shoot it really well. Yeah. And I think that's tough to guard, and especially when you have guys like Penn and Finn who can play one-on-one and create. It gives them a lot more space on the perimeter, you know, and they do a lot of 5-out stuff, which makes it really hard. But I think that's the fact is, you know, they defend really well, good guard play, and they can shoot the ball really well.
What's their biggest weakness? What do you worry about with them the most in a first-round game?
Yeah, I think, you know, they don't have great athleticism, and also they're small. They're small kind of up front. They have big guards, but they're like Veretto is 6'7", 6'8", you know, if I'm being nice. So I think that they're vulnerable because they are small, and you can rebound against them, which will cause some issues. But that's probably their biggest weakness is their athleticism and their size.
All right, perfect. There you have it. The breakdown of the America East champs, Vermont Catamounts, from none other than Binghamton head coach Levell Sanders. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Jeff.